Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here or just stopping by, hello, my name is Jennifer. You should totally subscribe. And today we are starting barefaced because I want to show you guys a natural soft glam situation but using affordable makeup. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you do while you're watching, please give it a big thumbs up and consider subscribing down below. So let's hop into it. The first thing we're gonna do is put my hair back, and the second thing we're gonna do right after that is ignore the red staining that is on my hairline. It's in my scalp. We're just not gonna talk about that, okay? Good, thank you. We're gonna prep our skin. So to start out, for my lips, I use just regular Vaseline. The next thing we do is prime our skin. My favorite affordable / drugstore. I'm saying affordable because there's some things in here that you can only get at Ulta, but they are still like drugstore priced. But my favorite primer is the Milani Prime Correct Face Primer. I like this so much because it has that green tone in it to help color correct, because I do have redness. I'm very, very fair, so redness shows up, and this does help to fill in my pores. Here lately, my favorite drugstore foundation is the Loreal Infallible Freshwear. Mine is in the shade 400 Pearl. But when I want a little more coverage and I want it to look a little more luminous, because I do have dry skin, I like to mix in some of the Makeup Revolution Conceal and Define. Mine is in the shade F1, I believe. Yeah. So this is only available at Ulta, like online. It's not in like drugstores, but I think this is like $10 around there. So I start off. This applicator bothers me, but I do. It's also important to note that I like full coverage foundation. I do 2 streaks on each side of my face. I do like a little V U shape, a little strip on my nose, and like that. And then if you have better skin than me, then you probably don't have to do this, but I drag mine pretty far down my neck because that's where I break out. So I do a few streaks going downward. Also, beauty blenders are super hyped up, but my favorite beauty sponge is from Wet n Wild. I think these are like between $4 and $6. I do dampen mine. I like this shape where it has that flat edge a lot more than a completely teardrop shaped, if that makes sense. So now that we're here, I'd literally take like a pump and a half of this foundation and I kind of dot it everywhere, and then we just pull our hair back and we go to blending. I do a stamping motion, and I like using a damp sponge because it just, I like the finish it gives. I like that it doesn't leave like streak marks everywhere, and on top of that it feels more moisturizing to my skin because it is a wet sponge. Okay, so foundation is done. The next thing I normally do is concealer. So I actually have 2 options. One is not drugstore, it's affordable, and the other one is available at drugstores. My all-time favorite of the year is definitely the ColourPop No Filter Matte Concealer. When I do my eyes first and I want to lay down some concealer to, you know, use as a base, I use the white one, which is Fair 00. But when I'm using it under my eyes, I use a Fair 02, which is still pretty pale. And then if you cannot get ColourPop where you live, or you don't want to go to Ulta or something like that, I really like the e.l.f. 16-Hour Camo Concealer. I use mine in Fair Rose. Today, this is super thick and heavy and full coverage, and I don't like feeling like I have on like 3 pounds makeup. So I'm gonna take the ColourPop one, and all I do is a little bit under each eye. I have a 1-year-old, so the dark circles have to go. And then I do just like that, just to highlight out my face. These extra lines are totally not necessary if you're like new to makeup, but I just like brightening my face up as much as possible. Oh, and I also concealer out and foundation my lips. I don't really know why. I'm really messy, so if I didn't intentionally cover them, they were gonna get covered anyway. I also let my under eye concealer sit for a few seconds. I blend out everything else first, and I'm trailing this up to my hairline right here to cover a little bit more of this red. The next thing I do is also definitely not a necessary step, but if you're going full glam, I think this really helps to tie everything in. I go in and I do a little tiny bit of cream contouring. For this, I love the Wet n Wild contour stick in Call Me Maple. I put a little bit under each cheekbone, the smallest little bit on my nose, right under the center of my bottom lip, and then I kind of like that. Very simple, not a whole lot going on there. And I just blend mine out with this very dense angled blending brush. This is from Real Techniques. It's the sculpting brush. And I just blend it back and forth and then kind of upward. See, it helps bronze me. I'm very, very pasty, so I have to rely a little bit on bronzing. The reason that I put a little bit under my bottom lip in the center and then I kind of smudge it out just in the center, it creates a shadow underneath your lip, which makes your lip look a little more plump. It just, in my mind, it helps. Now that we have all of our cream products on and liquid products, we need to set this all. Once again, if you have dry skin like me, you need to be wary of this step. I've just kind of gotten used to it, but if you have dry skin and you're not used to wearing face makeup and you go and put powder over everything, it's going to make you instantly feel tight and dry and uncomfortable. So I don't use a ton of it. I use the Wet n Wild Photo Focus Loose Powder in Translucent. This is messy as hell. This is not actually translucent, but it is light enough that I can use it. So the thing I like to do before I put on powder, I'm really bad about raising my eyebrows and I have like a freaking crevice in my forehead now. I stamp out that little wrinkle and I load up a little bit of powder, and you want to lean over something or put a towel, especially if you're like me and you wear a ton of black, because this shit goes everywhere. And I like to stamp this into the skin. This adds a little bit more coverage, and I don't use a ton of powder, so it doesn't really like completely dry me out. And then right after that, now that my forehead is set and I can lift my eyebrows again, I stamp out any wrinkles or creases under my eyes, and I go in and I set my eye down. I do put powder on my lid and underneath, and I make sure to get this whole little area right here. So you can already see it just helps to mattify a little bit. I don't like being completely matte. You can see my forehead still has a little bit of luminosity on it. Really the only other places I set are right here where I put bronzer down, just to help it blend a little bit more. Well, to help it blend easier, I guess. And then I always like to set around my mouth. That's where I tend to get the most dry, but it it also creases hella bad right there. So now with whatever powder is left on my sponge, which is not very much, I just kind of stamp over my entire face to make sure everything is blended. So now that we're all set, we've covered up a lot of that contour, and now we're gonna go back in, and I don't really re-contour. I do use this more as bronzer than contouring. I like taking a mix of these two products. These are both available at any drugstore. One is Wet n Wild Sunset Striptease. What is this even called? Color Icon Bronzer. And then this is the Maybelline City Bronzer in the shade 100. If you are very fair-toned, fair-complected, if you're very fair like I am, this is a super cool toned contour bronzy color. I literally just stamp between the two of them. And I go not like overboard, but I do bronze quite a bit because I am so pale. I bring this pretty far up on my cheeks because most days I do not wear a blush. I just wear bronzer. If you do think blush is something you would like to wear, I cannot recommend the Wet n Wild blushes more. These are awesome, and I have a bajillion of them. My favorite is the Rosé Champagne color. These are just super nice. These are hella pigmented though, so beware. Last thing I like to do for my face is highlighting, of course. My favorite highlighter is the ColourPop Flexitarian Super Shock Cheek. This is such a pretty highlight. And I have not found a brush that I really like using this with, so I definitely just go in with my finger and I just kind of tap it in. And it is, let me turn down my light a little bit. Is that better? And I just kind of bounce it in. This formula is unlike anything I've ever felt in my life. It feels like a cream or a liquid, and it's definitely just powder, so not a honey on how ColourPop did that, but go you. Main places I highlight with this are my Cupid's bow, my cheeks, my cheeks, and a little bit on my nose, and then I take just the smallest amount right in the arch of my brow. And if you want to go extra, you can take and go on your brow bone and in your tear duct. And we're going to do that today because we're not doing like anything crazy on the eye. Now that we are here, I love going in and using a setting spray just to melt all this powder down. The one that is marked affordable and not so much drugstore is the Morphe Continuous Setting Mist, and this is kind of borderline. I'm not going to use it today. I think this is like $16–17, but I wanted to include it because this from Loreal I think is $15. So this is the Loreal Infallible spray, the Maybelline Lasting Fix, and then if you're on like a hella super budget where you don't know if you'll like it or not, I love the Wet n Wild Natural Finish. They have a dewy one and they have a matte one alongside of this, but I love this. So I'm gonna go in with the L'Oreal. Gotta test it first. Try not to make any faces while this is drying, while any setting spray is drying, because it will obviously crease. Your face is wet again. And while that dries down, I'm gonna get out the rest of my stuff. So now that our face is dried down, I'm gonna run through and do my brows. I'm gonna cut this out so this video is not 30 minutes long, although it might still be. My favorite brow pencil right now is the ColourPop Brow Boss, and I use mine in Auburn. This is a super nice fine pointed pencil. And then I go in with some brow powder from the Rimmel Brow This Way in medium. I just like using the powder to fill in any gaps. And then lastly, this is so over dramatic, I use the Ulta brow tint in Auburn just to lay my hair down. So I'm gonna do that and we'll be right back to do my eyes, okay? Do whatever you normally do for your eyebrows, okay? So my brows are on. We're having a weird brow day. We're just gonna move past it. So on a normal day, I of course don't wear like something super glammed out or crazy. Most of the time I just put on some mascara after this and I'm out the door. But if I want to look a little bit more put together, I will do something super quick and super simple. This is one of my favorite things I've learned on YouTube. The Taylor. Well, oh, she's no longer The Taylor. She changed her name to Taylor Wynn here on social media. But she always takes a little bit of whatever bronzer she used and whatever highlighter she uses to create her eye look. So that's what we're going to do today. I'm going to go in with the City bronzer we used earlier and just a fluffy crease brush. And I'm just going to throw this into, it looks like I'm about to hit pan on this. Like I can see the ring in the middle of it, and that's terrifying. I really like that shade. So I'm just going to throw that into my crease. And a little on my outer corner. And from where we already put that ColourPop highlighter under our brow bone and in our inner corner a little bit, it's going to help our eyes to go a lot faster. And we're done with that. Seriously, that's it. Isn't that awesome? And I'm going to take a little smudge brush. This is optional. And I'm just going to take a little bit of the same bronzer and run it right under my lash line. Once again, this is optional. It's just going to add a little more depth to your eye. And now I'm going to go in with the same highlighter we used, which was Flexitarian from ColourPop. And I'm just going to take a tiny, tiny little bit. You can use your finger. And I'm just going to add that right on my lid. See, it just adds a little bit. And then I'm going to take it on the same brush. Is that not so weird? It like creates a dent wherever you push. It's super weird. Anyway, I'm going to take a little bit more of it. This is totally optional as well. And just re-up my inner corner highlight and under my brow bone. I highlight until there's no highlighting left to be done. I kind of feel bad about it, but not enough to quit. So now that we're here, my hairline looks ridiculous. Anyway, now that we're here, we're almost done with the entire makeup look. I'm quickly going to step off of screen and do a little bit of a winged liner and some lashes. My two favorite eyeliner pens, which is pretty much the only eyeliner I use for like top liner, I guess, are both affordable. One is the ColourPop liquid liner. BFF liquid liner, I think. Whatever. This is the black one. It's in Numero Uno. And then my all-time favorite is the Physicians Formula Eye Booster in Ultra Black. I love this. This is felt tip. This is brush tip. They're both amazing. And I think they're the same price. They're both around $10. And then here lately, my two favorite drugstore affordable mascaras are Loreal Lash Paradise and the Essence The False Lashes. This is awesome. I mean, they're both awesome. This is very lengthening and separating, and this is very volumizing, and it leaves your lashes all fluffy. I'm going to throw on a pair of the Ardell, oh, excuse me. These are Salon Perfect Demi Wispies, these two down here. I'm just going to throw those on because I have other videos to film today, and my favorite lash glue right now is the Duo Quick Set Strip Lash Adhesive. I love the Quick Set. So I'm going to quickly step off of screen and do my liner and lashes, and then we'll be back to do a lip and finish out this video. Be right back. Sweet Jesus, I didn't think these lashes were gonna cooperate. They need to be replaced. They don't even look like the same lash on both eyes, but it's okay. And then to finish out this look, we're just gonna put on a quick lip. Granted, I don't go out like this every day. Of course, this is more of a filming soft glam situation, but I do like to pop it out. This is the NYX Lingerie Push-Up Liquid Lip, not a liquid lipstick, just a regular lipstick. And this is in the shade Exotic. I love this sucker in the shade Embellishment, and this is actually my first time using this shade, and this is more of a like salmony, not even salmony. This is more of like a red tone berry situation, hopefully. So let's apply this. Yes, I love this. I'm just saying it's like a muted brick red. I'm kind of digging it. Once again, that is the shade Exotic, and if you've been watching my videos for a while, then you already know that embellishment is like my life. I have used quite a bit of this, and if you're curious about these are super awesome, and NYX is also carried at my Walmart now, but they're also online at Ulta. They're very affordable, and they do come with a little sharpener on the end so you can keep this point going. These are super minty and they're like very creamy, but they last all day long on me. So that, ladies and gents, is it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Sorry I'm fidgeting. I have to fix my hair, get my mirror back out of the frame, and put my rings back on. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. This was super fun to do. I don't think I've done anything like super simple but still glam on my channel like this. I either go full on out or I just put on a little bit of eyeshadow and mascara and I'm done. But I really like how this turned out. I hope you guys do too. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up down below and subscribe to my channel. And also, all of the products that I mentioned and or used today will be listed down below, along with my Instagram and a few other videos from my channel that I think you guys might enjoy. So I'm gonna stop rambling and get off of here. I will see you all in my next one. Bye.